Coming up on WFT's First at 5, the coldest temperatures of the season. The UF weather team is tracking a temperature rebound after our frigid morning.
Plus, the murder of the CEO of a major health insurance company, the latest on the investigation.
And Governor Ron DeSantis could be headed to the White House. We break down how he could be joining Trump's cabinet, plus what this means for the Florida governor seat. First at 5 starts right now.
First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Right now across north central Florida, we're seeing sunny skies and temperatures in the mid to low 60s. But this morning, neighbors woke up to some of the lowest temperatures of the season. Gainesville saw a low of 26 degrees. Welcome to First at 5. I'm Charlize Ramos.
And I'm Jamie Goldman. Thank you for joining us. We're taking you straight to UF forecaster Matthew Clark with the latest on the near-record cold snap.
Yeah, when we woke up this morning, temperatures were 26 degrees in Gainesville, and the further north we went, 25 in High Springs and 25 up in Lake City. It has since warmed up since that sun has been out all day without a cloud in the sky. And talking about records, we were just 2 degrees shy from the record low on this day. 1989, I was not alive then. That is a long time ago. 2 degrees, though, that is not much of a difference. It felt cold out there this morning if you were out and about. Again, it's warmed up very nicely, though, overlooking our campus cam, setting up for another beautiful sunset. Getting some winds from the southeast at around 3 miles per hour, so it's going to start to warm up as we head into tomorrow. Right now, temperatures in the low to mid 60s, 64 in Ocala and 65 down in the Villages. Very beautiful Wednesday afternoon as we head into the hour by hour and into tonight. Temperatures aren't going to drop off as heavily as they have been as last night, but going to be dropping into the 40s. Going to be a pretty chilly night again.
The St. Francis House and Grace Marketplace will provide cold night shelter services to people in need. The St. Francis House is more suitable for families, women, and children. Grace Marketplace primarily serves adults. The program will remain in effect until overnight low temperatures rise above 45 degrees.
A man shot and killed the CEO of a major health insurance company early this morning in New York. United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was shot in the back and leg before attending a conference at the Hilton Hotel. The shooter was dressed in all black with a gray backpack and ignored all pedestrians when he approached Thompson from the back. After shots were fired, the attacker ran across the street and jumped on an e-bike. Thompson's wife said her husband had recently received threats, and police believe this attack was premeditated.
Every indication is that this was a premeditated, pre-planned, targeted attack.
Police in New York insist the general public is safe. There is a $10,000 reward for information that will lead to the killer's capture.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis could be President-elect Trump's new defense secretary nominee, amid growing allegations against the former president's original pick. The commander-in-chief had tapped former Fox News host Pete Hegseth to take the position, but controversy has surrounded the appointment, including sexual assault allegations and previous comments from Hegseth that women should not serve in combat. President Trump is reportedly considering Governor DeSantis as the next in line to lead the Pentagon. If DeSantis joins Trump's cabinet, Florida Lieutenant Governor Jeanette Nunez would take over the role until January 2027, becoming Florida's first female governor until the next election in November 2026.
A 14-year-old was arrested in Marion County for second-degree murder. Kydris Jackson was set to meet 19-year-old Griffin Smith to sell a firearm. During the interaction, Smith began to drive away and Jackson shot at his car. As the investigation continued, information from witnesses was gathered, and with the collection of DNA evidence, detectives confirmed that Jackson shot and killed Smith. He was charged while in custody at the Marion County Regional Juvenile Center and remains there.
A Dixie County inmate is facing new charges after correction officers say he stabbed one of their own with a homemade knife. Investigators say surveillance video shows Kevin Rowley charging the officer as he was on duty. Rowley continuously attacked the officer and stabbed him in the left side of his torso. Rowley said he was not trying to kill the officer and was transferred to the Florida State Prison Tuesday. In other news, the Florida Department of Environmental Protection issued a public notice of pollution today after about 4,000 gallons of untreated wastewater spilled in Gainesville Tuesday afternoon. Officials say the water spilled at 4400 Southwest 20th Avenue but flowed into a grass ditch. According to the notice, crews were able to remove the water and disinfect the area, fencing it off until they return for repairs today.
Gainesville Regional Utilities is on track to reduce its debt by $400 million over the next 10 years, according to a recent media advisory issued by the utility service. According to the company, the expected debt reduction is about $85 million more than originally projected. The advisory shared that S&P Financial, one of the three agencies that determines GRU's creditworthiness, certified the company's stable outlook last week. While still noting credit risks, including the ongoing legal battles over GRU's governance, the GRU Authority also addressed the government services contribution, a general fund transfer which they reduced from around $15 million to $8 million. GRU CEO Ed Bolarski says they are confident the utility is trending upward and the authority is providing necessary leadership.
The number of Floridians insured by Citizens Property Insurance fell by 1 million last month and is expected to drop below nearly 900,000 by the end of the year. The insurance company had about 988,000 policies in force as of Friday. That's according to the state's-backed insurance website. Policies are being shifted out of Citizens to private insurers as part of a depopulation program. The program is a key strategy as state leaders try to shrink Citizens.
The property insurance market, even after the storms, continues to recover, and the reforms passed by the legislature, which it's not an understatement to say they really brought the insurance market back from the brink of collapse. They are continuing to work.
State leaders want to minimize the number of policies in Citizens because of the financial risks if the state is hit by a major hurricane or multiple hurricanes. If Citizens wouldn't have enough money to pay claims, policyholders throughout the state, including non-Citizens policyholders, could have to pay assessments to cover costs.
It's that time of the year again. The Gainesville Holiday Parade is back on Saturday. WFT's Eva Garcia is live from the parade route to tell us more on what is planned.
Second ever A Very Gainesville Holiday Parade will be taking place in the streets behind me, and this event will be bigger and better than ever on Saturday, with very special guest Shaquille O'Neal, four-time NBA champion, as the Grand Marshal leading the parade ahead. There are over 2,000 participants in the parade, which will include dance performances, marching bands, floats, and community groups, and will run from noon to 2 p.m. For the little ones who need to get rid of their energy after sitting, Bo Diddley Plaza will host a holiday kids dance party from 1 to 3. There will also be a tree lighting celebration at the historic Thomas Center from 5 to 8 p.m. Commissioner Chestnut sees these events as a way to give back to the community.
We care. We thank you for supporting us through the year. And now here's an opportunity for us to come together as a big family.
If you plan on attending the parade, make sure to arrive early to avoid traffic. Check on the City of Gainesville's Traffic Impact website to find out what roads will be closed on Saturday. Some RTS bus routes will also be affected and experience delays. These details can be found on the RTS website. If you're not able to attend the parade in person, we'll also be going live on the city's Facebook page and available for replay on YouTube. Live from the parade grounds, Eva Garcia wishing you a happy holidays.
UF officials invite the community to the 5th annual lighting of the Holiday Gator. UF Interim President Kent Fox will lead the countdown to light the sculpture on Thursday. The event starts at 5:30 p.m. on the lawn of the University Auditorium near the corner of Newell Drive and Union Road. The Holiday Gator was created by UF Arts College alumna Leslie Tharp and has been placed on the lawn in celebration of the holiday season since 2019. The gator will glow blue and orange until December 23rd.
A UF researcher has spent the last 2 decades studying forestry.
His family took a leap of faith and moved to the U.S. to continue his work. Coming up on First at 5, how he turned his childhood passion into a career.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Passion can inspire a person to brave the most drastic of changes. One UF researcher's story is proof of just that.
Our Bernardo Montas chronicled how this researcher's passions inspired his dedication to studying forests for 2 decades.
Many who've dedicated about a third of their lives to studying one thing. Even less have left their home countries to do so. But Dr. Roosevelt Bracho's story is one of dedication in the face of change.
Over the course of about 20 years, Dr. Roosevelt Bracho has studied Austin Carey Forest, a naturally regenerated pine forest. Few can imagine the kind of passion that drives a person to study the same thing for more than 2 decades. But Dr. Bracho's motivation is a lifelong one.
It started, I say that when I was a child. I was born out of the country down in Venezuela, and since I was a child, I had to help and interact with my family in that farm environment that I grew up.
Dr. Bracho and his team of fellow researchers have actively managed this pine forest. Through prescribed fires and cutting, they've tested how the ecosystem balances carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere while adapting to changes in the climate and management. As a Venezuelan immigrant, Dr. Bracho says his team helped him realize the work he aspired to as a kid.
They just opened their arms and even their hearts because we became friends.
One good friend of his is Dr. Tim Martin, a fellow ecologist working on the same project. His friendship with Dr. Bracho was set in motion when Dr. Martin hired him for the study.
I remember being on the phone with my colleague Wendell Cropper, with Roswell on the phone down in Venezuela, and we interviewed him. And I looked at my colleague Wendell, and we nodded our heads up and down, and we made the offer to him right there.
He also says he admires Dr. Bracho for the life he managed to build in a different country.
Roswell made that leap of faith, and I always respected that in him.
Dr. Bracho attested to that leap of faith, recalling the moment him, his wife, and their 3 children decided to stay in the U.S.
It was a moment when we say we're going to do our best. We're going to do what we have to do, and we're going to do it right. And at this moment, I think we did it.
While he's come a long way, Dr. Bracho's work is long from finished. He'll continue to make visits to Austin Carey Forest and do the work he's made a life out of.
Dr. Bracho's work has survived many life challenges. Still, he remains as resilient to change as the forest he's dedicated his career to. In the studio, Bernardo Montas, WUFT News.
Tracking another cold front moving through the country right now. I'll have that, how it will impact our area tomorrow and through the weekend after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Just showing these temperatures again this morning when we woke up, 26 degrees here in Gainesville. That is the coldest temperature we've seen so far this year, and the coldest dating back to January of 2023 last year. So it's almost been 2 full years since we've seen 20s here in Gainesville, and that's almost a near record low. The record low on this day was 24 degrees, December 4th, 1989. So we're just 2 degrees shy of today's record low temperature. And if you were out and about at 7 in the morning this morning, you were feeling that cold temperatures because that cold front that we had last week, it brought a punch. It brought some cold weather. Warmed up right now, 60 degrees. That sun has been out all day. Not really a cloud in the sky. Another beautiful orange and blue sunset setting up. Winds from the southeast at around 3 miles per hour. So we're starting to get a little bit of warm air back in our area. This afternoon, these high temperatures didn't get much above the mid 60s. 63 in Gainesville, 65 in Ocala, 67 up and down in the villages. Pretty nice Wednesday afternoon, but we've seen a little bit warmer temperatures for the most part. It's been 8 degrees warmer here in Gainesville today, 10 up in Lake City, and 10 degrees up in Live Oak. It's been a pretty warm day compared to yesterday, but when we woke up this morning, it was really cold. It was freezing temperatures. Not going to get that low as we head into tonight, though. Once that sun sets, the temperatures are going to drop into the low 40s. We're going to be waking up into around the 40s, around 40 degrees here in Gainesville. Further north, Lake City getting 36 degrees and 38 in High Springs. So if you're going for a morning jog or going to work, temperatures are going to be a little bit warmer, but it's still going to be pretty chilly. And see the out of the freezer. Tomorrow's warm temperature, 1929, 27 degrees. Tomorrow morning, 40 degrees. So we are going to be staying away from the record low weather for tomorrow. Another cold front that we're tracking pretty much all the way up north right now, but it's going to start to move its way down south. High pressure system bringing in some southerly winds, which is going to give us a little bit of warm temperature tomorrow. And then a cold front is going to move its way through around Thursday night and into early Friday morning. About a 10% chance of rain. Most of us will be asleep by that point in time before another high pressure system moves overhead and starts bringing in some more cold air from the north. So our 3-day outlook, Thursday, tomorrow, temperature is going to be in the 70s. We're getting a break from those 60s, but then that cold front on Thursday night is going to bring us back into the 60s as a high. And then Saturday, it's going to be a beautiful Florida winter day, 65 degrees over there. And then Sunday, it's also going to be pretty beautiful. Getting back into the 70s on Sunday, it's going to be a beautiful weekend to go out and about. Just for the rest of the week, though, we got to get past this cold break before we start getting back into the upper 70s. Could even see 80s next week with some % chances of rain on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Thank goodness for those temperatures heating up, but I still don't know if they're as hot as the Gators football team. Coming up, we'll tell you which recruits have officially inked contracts with Florida football.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome into sports. I'm Ben McLeish. It's a big day for high school football players around the country as they officially sign their collegiate contracts on National Signing Day. WUFT's Miguel Molina is live outside the Heavener Football Center with news on the Gators' biggest signings so far.
Ben, we have some breaking news right now, some massive news. In fact, offensive lineman Solomon Thomas, a 5-star recruit, just flipped his commitment from FSU to LSU. After not being able to find 5-star recruits and wide receivers Dallas Wilson and Jamie French, the Florida Gators, this is a massive blow for the Orange and Blue as they lose out on another high-caliber player that the Gators were heavily rumored to get. However, on the bright side, Solomon is not the only recruit that Florida went after. Some of the notable names that signed today include quarterback Tramell Jones Jr., Vernell Brown III, and safety Lagonza Hayward, who just flipped his commitment from Tennessee today. Over 20 student athletes went pen to paper. After a successful day on the recruiting front, Florida head coach Billy Napier is excited to get to work.
I think it truly takes a team of people. Really excited about the players that we added to the team today, and certainly not only the players, but the families, the circle of influence.
Despite the Solomon, news, there's still a lot to look forward to for Florida Gator fans. A lot of other great recruits that came in today, and Billy Napier was able to show that this is a place where people can call home. Reporting live from Heavener Football Training Center, Miguel Molina, WUFT News.
There's lots to be excited about in Gator sports as men's basketball looks to remain undefeated tonight. 13th ranked Florida faces off against the 5-2 Virginia Cavaliers in the SEC-ACC Men's Challenge. The Gators have yet to struggle this season, winning all 8 of their games by double digits. But the Gators lost to Virginia when the teams played each other last season. Tip-off is at 7:15 in the O-Dome. And there's plenty of Gators basketball to go around as the women travel to Clemson tomorrow to face the Tigers in their own SEC-ACC Challenge. The Gators are 0-2 against ACC teams so far. They snapped their 3-game losing streak on Monday against Hofstra, but look to get their first win against a Power 6 opponent this season. Tip-off is at 8 p.m. If college basketball isn't for you, there's some high school boys hoops matchups tonight. O'Call hosts Interlochen with both teams looking to bounce back from a loss. Eastside looks to get their first win of the season against undefeated Santa Fe. And Newberry begins its season against 0-1 Vanguard. With college football's regular season coming to an end, the playoffs are just around the corner. The second to last playoff poll was announced last night with 4 SEC teams currently in. Texas, Georgia, Tennessee, and Alabama have spots in the tournament and are likely to keep them, as only the conference championship games take place before the final poll next week. One final note, this is my last ever show for WUFT News. It's been an honor to give you all the scoop on local sports for the last year. And there's nobody I'd rather go out with than my good friend Jamie Goldman.
Oh, thank you, Ben. Well, it's my last show as well. No one I'd rather go out with than you, my guy, Ben McLeish. It's been an honor to serve WFT News for the last couple of semesters, both sports and now here on the news desk. But we're not all leaving just yet, as Charlize Ramos will stay for at least another semester, holding it down on Wednesdays here on the desk. So you're in the best hands possible with Charlize.
Thank you. Yes, I will be back next year on Wednesday. But Jamie, I just wanted to say it's been an honor to be your co-anchor and also your friend, just to see how much you've grown from our first show to our last one today. It's been truly great. Ben, you're so passionate about everything you do, and it's truly inspiring. I wish you both the best of luck. And before we go, let's get one last check at the weather.
Yeah, these two guys are great. We'll miss them deeply. I'm not going anywhere. As long as the weather's here, I will be here for you guys pretty much every day of the week. But let's look at the weather real quick, because it's going to be pretty cold as we head into Thursday and Friday morning. But you see that high Thursday, 72 degrees. Then we get another cold front as we head into Friday, dropping the highs back into the low 60s. And then Saturday, we're going to start to gradually heat up again, waking up 36 degrees, back in those 30s. Some of us could see sub-freezing temperatures, and then heating up into the 70s again on a Sunday. It's going to be a beautiful weekend, though. A couple clouds in the sky, but it's going to be like it has been the past couple of days. Beautiful Florida winter day. And then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, you see those temperatures starting to climb back into the upper 70s and lower 80s.
Thank you, Matthew. Honestly, I'm a big fan of the colder weather. I'm looking forward to this weekend as well as the rest of the week. But thank you all so much for joining us. We're back here tomorrow for another edition of First at 5.
For your North Central Florida news is always on at WFT.org and all of our social media platforms. Have a good night.